So I'm excited that everybody on here has made it. I know it's later, much later than we normally do, and it's a day after, but life happens. And I love that Candace came in her costume. Her beautiful doe features. Um, but anyways, I just want to do a quick check-in with everybody, see how you're all doing, and share a little bit about something that like I have been reading in the book, or share a little bit that I've actually been listening because I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life this past week. I haven't been able to check in the group as much as I'd like, which I had shared a little bit about my 12-year-old, I think, with you all. Oh, sorry, decline that call. I don't know if I had shared about her in the group or not. If not, I will like live in the group so it's not recorded or whatever. But I have literally been in my car. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours the last couple of days going back and forth between family and stuff. So anyways, I'll share about that later, but it's been a crazy week. And so I've not been able to really do a whole lot, but I am completely cleared of infection, which is nice, which has been like 7 weeks. So I feel so much better. I hesitate to say 100% because it's almost like I feel like it might be snatched away real fast. You know, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, like you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then like you don't want to get your hopes up because what if it doesn't happen? But I am a lot better. And so one of the things I've been learning this week is there's a quote I'm going to read to you all that's in the book Made to Crave, which is well, I go from that because I'm listening to the book. I'm not actually reading it. I have the book on my bookshelf, and I've had it for like 2 years, but I never open it because it's harder for me to read and find that time, whereas if I'm in my car more often recently. Basically, the quote is, when a craving doesn't come from hunger, eating will never satisfy it. And if you've been seen any of my videos recently or whatever, I've shared about like just basically my food addictions and my binge eating disorder, and just how like in the last like 2 or 3 months, it's gotten more of a struggle than it has been in the last few years. And how like, I literally like a week and a half ago, I was at a birthday party and I was crying because I wanted to shove my face in cupcakes, like that's when, I think it kind of hit me like, wow, you've got a problem. Like, and I've always known that I've had a problem. But it was one of those things, it's like, I feel like the food addiction is an acceptable addiction to have with women. We joke about it. We usually will go out to eat with people. We, at least for like Christian women, we always have things surrounded by food, at least, with women in my church. And so like, it's one of those things, it's just accepted because it's not necessarily that you're going to instantly like harm your body with something. But I think just as with a lot of drugs, it can be a very slow dying process and a slow process that tears you away from relationships, self-loathing, tear you away from God if you're a Christian. And so like, I think it's it can be just as detrimental. And when it got to the point where, I wanted to cry at the birthday party, I'm like, oh my gosh, Robin, like get it together. You are a grown ass woman. Why are you crying over some little freaking cupcakes that were made out of a box? Like it's not even like, it's not. And I told my husband, I was like, it wasn't even like they were homemade brownies or like cheesecake with like strawberries on top with whipped cream, or it wasn't even like it was this homemade delicate thing that you're only going to get once a year. Like if it was something that was like a once a year thing, like sure, I would have probably had 2 or 3 bites, but it was just boxed cupcakes. So it was nothing special. They didn't even look super cute, but I was just like, I just wanted to shove my face in them. And like that quote just hit me because I feel like as life attacks you, and if you're human like me, when it rains, it pours. And I think that is one of the best times for us to be tempted by things because we are with the struggles that we have because we're already weak. And so when we're in those environments where there are triggers, and I've had a lot of them, and a lot of them is emotional eating. I we either have those three responses. It's fight, flight, or freeze. And if I can't do the flight and run, then I usually just eat. And those have just been my coping mechanisms for years. And I think a lot of the times I was lying not only to other people, but lying to myself about how bad it was, because I would do this cycle of binging, and then I wouldn't eat the next day because I felt guilty. And then at nighttime, I would do it again. And then I wouldn't eat the next day. So basically, I was eating after the kids would go to bed because I was eating my emotions and eating, whatever felt good in the moment. But one of the things I've been asking, or like questioning myself, and this is also from the book, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Basically, she, focuses on things that she can have, but then asking herself this question when she thinks about eating something that may not necessarily align with her goals. And that is, how will I feel in the morning? And I'm like, wow, like very simple, but how will I feel in the morning? In the morning, will I also attach guilt and shame and self-loathing, self-negative talk, all these things, basically the emotional aspect that comes along with those cupcakes, or those 5 cupcakes that I would have maybe eaten, or those 10 candy bars or whatever. Like, how will I feel in the morning? And if I can honestly say, you know what, I will have no guilt or no shame or none of these negative things. Okay, it's safe for me to eat. But if I feel like I will have those things attached to it, then I probably shouldn't be eating that, and I need to be reevaluating why I want to eat it. And I think a lot of it comes down to this quote. If I am craving something, not because I'm hungry, but because I'm bored or I'm emotional or hormonal, that's not going to satisfy my hormones or my sadness or any of those other things, So it's like, we need to find things that are healthy to fill those things up, because food, if you're like me, we've tried it over and over and over again. And has it worked? No. So why do we keep running to it? Like, why do I keep subjecting myself, not to the point of like, or not just saying, and like being frustrated, but crying, because I know that the cycle that I've continued for 30 some odd years. And why am I kicking and screaming and crying, having a tantrum like a toddler because I can't have some damn cupcakes? And like, why I can't change that mindset of where, okay, like, I'm not going to have you cupcakes. I'm going to be just fine. And a lot of times I am. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times I can be like, nope, not worth it. But I can tell where things, like the struggle, the triggers have been more and more and more. I've been much more emotional. I've been more, I want to say more hormonal, because like my cycles are more regular, but it's like, especially the emotional stuff and just the aspect of parenting. Like I'm like, I want to be done. Like, like I just need a break from kids. I just need a break from life. And it's just like, I just want to go into the closet and just hide for 2 or 3 days and not even come out. I really do. So it's like, does that make sense? So it's like, why do we keep subjecting ourselves to that? So I want you to think about that. And as you're kind of doing your check-in, maybe the food thing isn't an issue. Maybe, you, instead of binging, or you go to food for your emotions, you have retail therapy. I can tell you, I've struggled with that too, because I've justified it because I'm like, well, I'm not eating. And it's better for me to go spend $50 on clothes when I don't need them because I'm not eating a milkshake. So it's like, I guess if you want to share, like, if there are things that you feel like you'd go to, do you feel like you go to food when you're craving something, other than food? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because the quote was, food will never satisfy. Basically, hold on, I butchered it. When a craving doesn't come from hunger, eating will never satisfy it. So basically, my question is, do you feel like you run to food sometimes to satisfy the cravings that you have that may not necessarily be from hunger, but for emotions or for sadness or being bored or frustrated? And if you do, what are ways that you're trying to overcome that? If you have overcome that, please share, because I feel like there's a part of me, I feel like I will never have complete victory in this. And that's okay. Like, just because you have the struggle doesn't mean that I'm defeated or that you should be defeated. It just basically shows your strength that we're still able to overcome it time and time again. Because the defeat is not from having the struggle. The victory is from having the struggle and overcoming it. And defeat is if we allow it to tear ourselves down over and over again, and not trying to do something about it. So who would like to share first about how they're doing this week? Since I've rambled so long. Samantha? Are you still doing list 4?
No. Well, I mean, I did 1, and then with everything last week, between all of us getting sick, my grandpa passing away, I did week. So
You're cutting out a lot. Oh, she might be coming back in. Wendy, would you like to share until she comes back?
Sure. This week hasn't been great. I had a really stressful week at work. I had a girl that had to go on maternity leave suddenly, and I was left shorthanded at work. I have 2 new girls that are training, and that's been really stressful. Mm-hmm. I did gravitate towards cupcakes, and I gave in. So I felt bad for a minute, but then, you know what, I figured the struggle's real and it happens, so now I'm trying to get back on track again.
So what are you going to be doing this week to get back on track?
This week, my goal is to just stay away from sugar as much as possible.
And another thing that I'm learning is what you end up feeding yourself, like your body, is what you're going to crave even more. So like if you're craving sugar just a little bit and you give your body sugar, it's going to crave it even more so. But if you begin fighting that addiction, and I'm not saying you're sugar, but like and you're feeding it good foods, over time your body will begin craving those good foods. It doesn't mean that the sugar cravings will ever go completely away. It's like those people who like, even if they say like Shakeology takes away all of my sugar cravings, I'm like, girl, you lying. You know you want a Reese cup here and there, or a cupcake, or like those Plexus drink, I don't know, like whatever. And they're just like, oh, look at no. Like I feel like where there's just so much sugar in all the food, just in general, just hidden sugars, that I think it will be something I believe that I will always struggle with to some degree. And it just coming down to having discipline about it. So, not too soon. What about you, Skylar?
Been a rough couple of weeks. Been dealing with some pretty bad anxiety. My life's pretty much on hold until, okay, dog, yes, I see you. My life's pretty much on hold until the job that is technically mine, that hasn't been released yet, is finally offered to me officially. So I've gotten to the point where I absolutely hate being at work, and that's been the biggest source of my anxiety. So my food choices haven't been great, but they haven't been bad. I could be doing better. Yeah. I've been way off on my water and haven't been working out. I've got a nut job next to me here.
Well, I'm glad you still hopped on, even though you feel like there's a lot of improvement that that you could be doing, and where you're struggling. Like it says a lot that you still hop on and say, you know what, like the past couple of weeks, because
I've been maintaining for the last essentially 2 months. just through minor activity and food. So I'm definitely more aware of what I'm eating, and I know when I've been eating too much of the crap that I need to, just kind of scrap it all and go right back to the good food.
So do you have any idea when you will hear about the new job, when it will be released?
5 weeks ago, they said it could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a month, could be 2 months. I have been emailing them probably every 3 days asking for an update, and no one's giving me an update. So, because right now, I just want to take a couple weeks off between this job and starting my new job, just so I can decompress, get some stuff done around the house, and spend a little time with family. Because Thanksgiving is never a very easy time for me. It hasn't been since high school. A friend of mine passed away our senior year, right after Thanksgiving. It's been a year since my great-grandmother passed, and she was a spitfire, and it was just hard to see her go. So
I'm sorry.
I just kind of want the extra time off.
I mean, it's been a struggle. Well, know that we're here, and you are more than welcome to come in the group anytime and rant and vent. All right, who else would like to go next? Either of the Amandas?
Yeah, I can go. So this week so far hasn't been my best week that I've had out of the last several months. My pastor and his wife came over on Sunday to visit with us to check up on me, see how I'm doing in my recovery and such. And so we bought some cookies so that we would have something, to offer them. And so, I mean, they're the super soft sugar cookies with the really thick frosting on them and the sprinkles, like those to die for cookies that like you eat one and you just want to eat like all 10 out of the container. So yeah, those have been my downfall this week. Yesterday I think I ate 3. I haven't eaten any today because I ate 3 yesterday and I felt really guilty. So I've been trying to like not look at them and stay out of the kitchen so that I forget about them. And then other than that, I mean, I've been trying to make really good food choices. Some of our fellow church members bought us Chinese food for dinner last night because she can't cook because she has a bad back and they live like an hour away from us. So they just went ahead and ordered Chinese and had it delivered to us last night to help take care of us. So I did really good though. I only ate half of a serving of like what they sent. I only ate half of it. And so then I was able to eat the other half for lunch today. So even though it was Chinese food, which obviously isn't the healthiest, I was really careful and watched how much I ate out of it. But about half of what I ate was broccoli because it comes with broccoli on it for like quote unquote decoration. But I went ahead and I was like, hey, you know what? It's a vegetable. I need my vegetables. So I went ahead and I just ate that broccoli right with it so that I wouldn't feel quite so guilty. I still got that broccoli and that vegetable. Was really careful with how much rice I was eating too because I love rice. But again, I know that it's not the best. It's super carby and starchy. I haven't really done a whole lot of exercising this week. The weather has been really like gray, so it's been making me super sleepy. On top of my pain pills and muscle relaxers making me already sleepy. So I've been really cold, so I've been sitting under my blankets, and so, you snuggle down in and it's gray outside and I'm groggy, so like I've actually slept a lot this week and I really need to kick that habit so that it doesn't go on. I need to get up and move more.
I think it's good to get up and move, but I also think it's good for you to rest too.
Yeah, but I need to right now, like I'm not hardly moving at all. Like this morning a friend came to visit me that I haven't seen in a while. She stopped by and then she left, and Mark came home for lunch and he left, and like I fell asleep an hour later and I ended up taking like a 4-hour nap this afternoon. So, I mean, I need to find a fine line between napping and still making sure I'm getting up to walk. Because I'm supposed to go for like 2 to 3 walks a day as part of my recovery process. and I haven't done that yet this week. I went for a walk tonight when Mark got home from work, but I didn't, so I got my nighttime walk, but I didn't get my morning or afternoon walk in. And I really need to do that because, one, it's good for me, but two, it's also part of my recovery process.
Gotcha. So I would, how about this? When you are doing your walks, you can do a check-in in the group. That way
Yeah.
you can brag about yourself doing your walk.
I could do that. My walks in the morning and afternoon get super boring because I can't go outside and walk for those. I have to do them in the house. And so, like, the area where I can take a lap is a really small area. And so it just gets, like, super, super boring. I think that's part of the reason why I struggle with it. But I try to, like, turn on my music or turn up the TV so that I can hear it watching the Hallmark Christmas movies. I'm totally binge watching the Hallmark Christmas movies now that they're on because that's just my life. I'm like, silver lining to, having unexpected major spine surgery 4 weeks ago, guys, is now I can stay home and binge watch Hallmark Christmas movies.
Do you have like Samsung Health app or anything on your phone? I mean, you can download them real simple. You don't have to pay for them.
Download what?
Samsung Health.
I have a Fitbit app because I have a Fitbit.
If you have a Fitbit, you're more than welcome to add me, or I can add you to my group, and we could kind of do like maybe walk together on weekends or something, even though we're distant.
Yeah, that'd be great. I will PM you my email address.
All right. And another thing is Samsung Health. If you download them every month, they start up new little challenge things where you walk so many steps to get to the end, and you get these cool little badges. It's something I started doing whenever I started losing weight to kind of motivate me. And you can watch yourself go around the board when you're, racking up your steps through the month.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out, and I can tell you more about it if you wanted to later on.
Yeah, for sure. We can chat about that later, too.
All right.
Awesome. How are you doing, Candace? Oh, did you hear me? How are you doing, Candace?
I'm doing all right. I'm having a lot of that seasonal anxiety, depression stuff just get to me here lately, but I'm doing it. I'm doing okay. I am slipping here and there and eating junk, but amazingly, somehow I'm still managing to stay in ketosis, probably because I'm not eating enough, I'm guessing. But when you're on the ketogenic diet, you are so full. If you're eating the 75% fat ratio, the low carbs, the fat keeps you so full. But even being full, I still crave stupid shit. So like the other day, for no reason at all, I was just like, well, I'm going to eat me a whole jar of homegrown canned bread and butter pickles. And I sat down and ate a whole freaking jar of them for no reason. Yeah, so, I mean, it's just things like that, but I'm okay. I'm getting there. I'm still doing my Lift 4. Mm-hmm. I'm struggling to get motivation to do it right now, though, but I'm still doing it. That's about it so far.
So what would motivate you to do them?
I just get my ass up. That's the only way I can do it. It just comes down to the end of the day to where if it's the end of the day, my kids are asleep, I tell them I can't go to sleep until I've done it, because if I do that, then I know I'm going to wake up the next morning and I'm not going to want to hit play the next morning. So I know if I don't hit play before I go to bed, that I won't do it tomorrow. And I've quit so many programs. I'm just like, no, I can't do it. 80-day obsession was really hard for me because at that time I didn't know that clean eating was causing me so many problems lab-wise. So I was having really low HDL levels and was starting to have other issues, and I actually stopped having a period. So the clean eating really screwed me up, and I thought it was my PCOS coming back to bite me in the rear. I was having a lot of hypoglycemic episodes, but what it was, I think, is my fasting glucose and everything was starting to go up. So I was starting to have some more pre-diabetic issues, even though I was eating clean, because I wasn't cutting out a lot of my starchy vegetables and fruits and things. I was eating mango a day, because it was fruit and it was acceptable. And if it was in my container count, I could have it. So I wasn't tailoring my diet to my PCOS.
No.
But anyway, I started having hypoglycemic episodes, and I ended up not being able to finish 80-day obsession. So I told myself when I started lift 4, I was going to finish it. So I'm going to finish it. And I know me, so I try to prepare for things that are going to screw me up. So I know if I don't do the program that day, if I find an excuse, I'm not going to push play the next day. Mm-hmm. And I got a little bit of a hang up Friday when I wasn't able to do that, because I wasn't able to do it early in the morning because my daughter got sick. She started puking everywhere. So then by the time nighttime rolled around, she was still cranky and didn't want to go to bed. So I didn't push play, and I ended up doing it Saturday. But it was very hard for me to get the motivation to do it Saturday because I didn't want to.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to, the asking yourself that question, how will you feel in the morning?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one for me. And something that used to be one of my big hang-ups, especially when I was working, it was fast food, because it's there, it's readily available. Even if you don't want it necessarily, it's there. I can go pick up a burger and it's there and I can eat it, and it don't even taste good when you eat it. It don't even taste good. Generally, it tastes like it's been microwaved 2 days old and it's got nasty stuff on it. It just don't taste good. But so whenever I started trying to cut the soda and things out of my diet, what I would do, because I had this compulsion to go through the drive-thru to get a sweet tea, what I would do is I'd carry a container of stevia around with me, and I would just get non-sweet tea, and I would dump the stevia in it, and I had that cup. I had my to-go fast food cup, and it tasted sweet enough for me, so it was enough to tell my mind, okay, you got what you want, but I didn't really have the sugar. So, but I don't know. It's still those little things, like sitting down and eating a whole jar of pickles for no reason, Mm-hmm. If it would have been a bag of potato chips in my house, I'm sure I would have ate the bag of potato chips. But, I try not to keep those things lying around. It's hard, though.
Yeah, it is hard, especially with kids.
Yeah.
All right, Amanda or Charlotte, either of you want to share?
Debbie, lay down.
Are you talking to me? Larry, can you turn that down? Were you saying my name there, Robin?
Yeah, either you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I couldn't, went out to answer a message and then I couldn't figure out how to get back on. I mean, I could hear you guys, but I couldn't find you guys. Oh, gosh. Well, my week's been just crazy, work-wise. But I've done fairly decent on the food. And I have to be proud of myself. I've been getting up and doing my workouts at the butt crack of dawn. And then that way I can cuddle in the evenings. So that's good, because I struggle with motivating to do it in the morning, but I've done it. This is week number 3.
Awesome.
But, I mean,
thinking about it all day and dreading it.
Huh?
I said, and then also you're not thinking about it all day and dreading it, so.
Yeah, and I've been driving people nuts at work, because then I also challenge them. I race them all the time. Mm-hmm. They take the elevators and I take the stairs, and I'll sit there and I wait for them and I race them. And there's only been one time that I lost. It was because I had a whole bunch of stuff and I kind of tripped going up the stairs. But they're just like, there you go again, running. I'm like, yep. I guess it kind of does give you a little bit more energy in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I'm glad that things are going so well.
Yeah. But food, I mean, it could be better. I still, have my popsicle addiction, and I've been eating those Outshine ones, which are good. So
Good. It's
I don't know if I'll ever be able to cut that addiction. Sorry, I like popsicles.
What about you, Charlotte? How are you doing? Can you hear me? Charlotte, can you hear me? It's not. Well, that's okay. So, yeah, so it sounds like overall everybody's doing pretty good. Some are struggling a little bit more here than others. So if there's something, that you think you might need from me this week, just send me a message or tag me in a post or whatever, and I can see how I can help you. Maybe even if it's like you need a daily check-in with me, or you want to hop on a video call and just kind of talk more one-on-one, we can definitely set that up. So just let me know. But I appreciate you all hopping on here at such a random time later. And if this time is better for everybody, it might be something we want to do later from now on, depending on everybody's schedule. So this weekend, I know that the time does change. It goes back an hour, just as a reminder. So, but yeah, I'll make a